Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Ethereum is starting to struggle around this massive area of resistance, while the price of Chainlink is currently running into this critical level of support in the short term and is also forming a new pattern that we need to pay attention to, while the price of Solana is once again rejecting from this key short-term resistance, while XRP could possibly be reaching a local top on this chart right here. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Ethereum chart, and right now the price of ETH is still looking very bullish on the larger timeframes. We're clearly playing out a bull run right now, and we're coming into contact with previous significant highs in the price of ETH, which is sitting at around 3.9k to 4k approximately. And if we break out above those highs right there that we set back in March this year and around May to June this year, if we break out back above those highs, obviously we'd be setting a new higher high on the larger timeframes for the first time in a long time, and in that case would likely be heading up towards the all-time high for Ethereum, which is sitting at just underneath $5,000, around 4.8k to 4.9k approximately. But once again, between now and then, we still have this short-term resistance to pay attention to, really the final significant area of resistance before we start heading up towards that all-time high. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day time frame, it's the same story here as well. In terms of the larger price structure or the trends that we're in right now, we're clearly looking bullish. But of course, in the short term, we can see little rejections and things like that from points of resistance during the larger bullish trend. And right now, we are running into that strong resistance, which if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, is sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k. And obviously, over the last one day, with that massive scandal candle in the price of Bitcoin, the pump and dump, obviously, we also saw something similar just in the short term for the price of ETH. So at least as of right now, the price of ETH is starting to somewhat struggle around this area on the price chart, which is to be expected because obviously, previously, this was massive resistance for the price of ETH. So right now, we are running into that area, so expect some struggle in that area. But like I said earlier in the video, once we see a confirmed breakout, ideally above 4.1k, so we can properly clear this previous high that we set back in March. Once we break out above 4.1k, expect a continued bull run closer towards the all-time high for Ethereum in the high $4,000 price range. And so just to summarize, things are looking very bullish right now for Ethereum when we're looking at the larger trend and momentum. Just be aware that we can see little pullbacks and things like that along the way on the smaller time frames during the larger bullish trend. And if we're taking a look at Chainlink on the weekly time frame, right now the price of Chainlink is still sitting on the very edge of potentially a major breakout beyond this golden pocket area of resistance, which was previous significant resistance, and that's sitting in between around $21 to $23. But as I've been saying over and over again recently here on the channel, even though the price temporarily traded above $23, of course, we still need to see a weekly candle close actually confirm above $23 in order to actually confirm this breakout on the weekly time frame. And in case you're wondering, the next weekly candle close is in roughly around 2.5 days from now. And so, for example, if in 2.5 days from now, the price of Chainlink is below $23, then in that case, we'll not confirm the breakout above this golden pocket and would have to wait for the next weekly candle close in another week from then. And so ultimately, of course, in terms of this trend that we're in and that we've been in over the last couple of months here, things are currently looking bullish in terms of the midterm trend heading into the longer term trend right now for Chainlink. But just as of right now, in terms of this breakout above the golden pocket, we still need to see confirmation. And if we see that confirmation, if we see that weekly candle close above $23, in that case, this golden pocket would likely become new support. And the next point of resistance to watch out for is sitting at approximately $27.50 to $28 based on this previous high. And we also have strong resistance at around $31.50 to close to $34 based on these previous highs and this Fibonacci level of resistance. And of course, if we're taking a look at this weekly Chainlink chart, right now the price of Chainlink is still sitting on the very edge of potentially a massive breakout from this bullish cup and handle pattern on the weekly time frame, as I've said quite a lot recently here on the channel. But as I've also said quite a lot recently here on the channel, we still need to actually confirm that breakout with a weekly candle close, ideally above around $23 to $24 in order to actually confirm this breakout and confirm this pattern. And by the way, the price target for this pattern, once we actually confirm the breakout, which as of right now has not yet happened, but once we confirm this breakout, that will set up a bullish price target for this pattern at just above $90 per Chainlink, which from the point of the breakout at around $23 to $24 to that price target, that's pretty much a 300% move towards the upside. But once again, that only really starts coming into play once we actually see a confirmed breakout above this level, which as of right now has not exactly happened. And if we're zooming into the short term for the price of Chainlink is currently sitting right on the edge of an important level of support, at least in the short term here. This is only looking at the 2-hour time frame, so we're only talking about the smaller moves on this chart. In case you're new to all of this, these sort of patterns on the 2-hour chart, for example, play out over a period of hours or days, maybe max up to around a week, whereas these patterns on the weekly time frame play out over weeks, if not months, sometimes even longer. And so just in case you're new to all of this, it's important to understand the difference between the different time frames. It's possible, for example, to be within a larger bull market on the larger time frames, while the short term might be showing a possible bearish pattern. That is possible. That's not contradicting because they're two different time frames. And so with that being said, taking a look at this 2-hour Chainlink chart, because right now the price of Chainlink is running into an important level of support, at least in the short term, which is sitting at around $23.10 to $23.20, give or take. So basically just above $23. We do have important short-term support, as we can see right here. And right now the price is forming a possible descending triangle pattern, which is a technical bearish pattern. Now, when I say a technical bearish pattern, that simply means it's more likely to break out to the downside than to the upside, but not impossible to break out to the upside. That is just simply the less likely scenario. So once again, more likely to go bearish than bullish, but not impossible to be bullish. And of course, even if we do play out this bearish pattern right here to the downside, that could just give us an even better opportunity to potentially get ready for these larger patterns on the larger time frames, give us a better entry, for example, to take out these larger swing trades, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But for now, looking at this short-term descending triangle pattern, if we first confirm a break below this line of support, which at least as a recording in this video has not yet actually happened, we've not yet seen candle closes below this level, but if that actually happens, then that will set up a short-term bearish price target for this pattern right here, which would be sitting at around $20.60 to $20.70 approximately. So from the point of the break to the downside to that price target, that's a possible 10 to 11% drop to the downside as a likely scenario if we first confirm a break below this line of support. And so with all of that being said, what is my trading strategy when it comes to Chainlink right now? Well, first of all, if you've been watching my last altcoin videos here on the channel, you'll know that I was previously in a bit of a Chainlink long position in order to potentially take this larger swing trade right here on the larger time frames. But as I mentioned yesterday in my last altcoin video, I already mentioned I'm starting to reduce the size of that Chainlink long position. And I said in that video, if funding rates remain relatively high, I'll continue to look to reduce that long position, because essentially the funding rates being very high basically means the long position is very expensive to keep open. And so due to that reason, due to the high funding rates as of recent, and also due to the fact that we've not yet confirmed the breakout on the larger timeframes for this bullish pattern, and also due to the fact that we're now forming a possible bearish pattern just in the short term here, due to all of those reasons, I've now actually basically closed that Chainlink long position at around break even, as you can see right here on screen. And so obviously that did not turn out to be the perfect long position, as some of my other trades have turned out to be over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, if you followed the XRP long positions, they did very well over the last couple of weeks here. But ultimately, when it comes to Chainlink, we're likely just going to have to give it a little bit more time before we can take out this major long position right here, because once again, we still need to confirm the breakout on the larger timeframes. That's going to take some time, because once again, it's still over 2 days from now until this next weekly candle close. But even before that breakout on the larger timeframes actually confirms, we may first see a little bit of a pullback if we actually break below this line of support. And so that gives us some time to prepare for that next major trading opportunity. Of course, this could also be a bit of a short-term trading opportunity, but personally, I try to stay away from short positions during a bull market. So personally, just in my situation, I will not be taking this trade right here, even if we do break to the downside. If anything, I'll just be waiting for this to play out. If it does play out, of course, which right now we've not broken this support, but if it does play out, I'll just be waiting to see this move towards the downside, and then perhaps look at some of these lower levels towards this price price target as a better entry for, say, a long position or to accumulate Chainlink. That is how I would play this move right here if it actually confirms. Right now, once again, we're still waiting for confirmation. And as always, that is not personal financial advice. I'm just simply being transparent with what I'm doing with my own money. And once again, if you want to take trades like the recent trade that I took for Chainlink and other altcoins here on the channel, I do trade over on Bitfinex. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link below this video to Bitfinex to make your account, you can get a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever, but that is only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And also, by the way, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from the US or the UK, for example, without needing any KYC. But for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitfinex, there is another exchange which I trade on, which is Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account, you can get a 500 USDT position airdrop. So basically a free $500 trade as your first trade over on Bybit, but that is only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, obviously in the short term, the bull market has basically stalled. We're currently seeing a bit of a short-term pullback, but technically speaking, if we're looking at the larger trend as of right now on the larger time frames, things are still currently looking bullish. If we're looking at the lows and the highs, for example, technically speaking, we're seeing higher lows and higher highs, which is the definition of a bullish trend. And so as of right now, that next major price target for Solana is still sitting at around $313, so $313 as the next major price target beyond the all-time high. But as I've also been saying recently here on the channel, between the current price and that price target at $313, we have a lot of strong short-term resistance we first need to break out above. So for example, looking at the 6-hour time frame, we have strong resistance at around $260, and also some pretty strong resistance right here at around $246 approximately. And just over the last 1 day, that's exactly where we saw another perfect rejection from. As expected, we rejected from $246. So once again, we have a lot of resistance at that level. And of course, as I shared yesterday in my last altcoin video, we basically already invalidated the breakout for this falling wedge pattern right here with a breakout and then a break back to that downside. So I shared in my last video that I would not be taking this trade right here because it's not really worth the risk. Basically, we have an invalidated breakout right here, and it's not really worth the risk because we still have strong resistance above the current price. So due to those reasons, as I mentioned yesterday, I did not take this long position. And so as of right now, when it comes to my trading strategy, I'm not really taking any trades right now for Solana. But if, for example, we see some sort of bounce here or a bounce slightly below this level of support, in that case, we're possibly forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. As you can see right here, we already have a possible left shoulder and a possible head, but we still need to actually form this pattern and then actually confirm this pattern by first seeing a right shoulder actually form like this and then seeing a confirmed breakout above this resistance at around 246. If we see that over the next few days, then that would form and confirm an inverse head and shoulders pattern if we see the right shoulder and then break out above that resistance. And in that case, that could set up a new price target beyond the all-time high, but obviously between then and that new all-time high, of course, we'll still have strong resistance at 260 and of course 246. And so that's just a potential pattern that I'm pointing out on the price chart that is possibly forming right now, but is no way confirmed as of right now. And when it comes to support to pay attention to, we do have support that we're running into right now as of recording this video, sitting at around $232. And below that, we have more support at around 221 to 223, give or take. And below that, we have significant support at around 205 to 210. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at XRP on the weekly time frame, right now the price of XRP has obviously run into this significant level of resistance, which is the 1618 Fibonacci extension, sitting at pretty much exactly $3 per XRP. And the price of XRP got extremely close to $3 just a few days ago. It got basically just above $2.90, so within a matter of cents from $3 before seeing a strong rejection, at least here in the short term. And so it's safe to say that at least as of right now, there is strong resistance, which basically means strong selling pressure. So the price is likely going to struggle quite a bit at around $3 and just underneath $3, as we've seen just over the last few days here. And as for support, we're likely going to find significant support at approximately $2 per XRP if we were to see a continued short-term pullback. Once again, I'd expect support around there. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at this 1 hour time frame, obviously, as I mentioned on the channel a few days ago now, all the way back around here, I already closed my XRP long position. Obviously, if you've been watching my channel over the last week or so, I longed all of these previous bullish moves in the price of XRP over the last 1 to 2 weeks. And then I was following this price structure right here, where we were basically running into short-term resistance, seeing a bit of a break during the bull market, and then breaking out and going immediately towards the upside, running into a bit of resistance, doing the same thing again, resistance, same thing again. But this time around, that last time right here, as you can see, when we ran into this resistance and then went for that breakout, but then saw a fake out and came back immediately below that point of resistance, that was a change in price structure that I immediately noticed. And then as soon as I saw that fake out right here, that was the moment where I started to close my XRP long position, obviously in massive profits here, which I shared at that time on this channel. And I also posted that real-time update as I was doing it over on my Twitter. So if you want real-time updates throughout the day, check out my Twitter link down below. But basically, ever since then, I'm out of my XRP long position. So once again, I closed all of my XRP long positions right around here. And now, of course, there may be a scenario where I'll jump back into an XRP long position. And if that happens, I'll let you know about it here on the channel and over on my Twitter once again. But for now, I'm not really looking at a new XRP long position because at least as of right now, once again, this could change, but at least as of right now, we're kind of lacking the momentum that we previously saw in the price of XRP. And also on top of that, if we're taking a look at the XRP BTC chart, this is XRP versus Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. So in case you're new to all of this, if this chart goes to the upside, it means XRP is outperforming Bitcoin, or if this chart is going to the downside, it means Bitcoin is outperforming XRP. So in other words, not financial advice, but how this would work in practical terms is if this chart is bearish, it would make more sense to hold Bitcoin over XRP, but if this chart is bullish, it would make more sense to hold XRP over Bitcoin. And it was roughly around a week ago, around 1 to 2 weeks ago here on the channel, that I shared this exact chart here in these videos around a week or two ago. And I shared history repeating on this chart right here as what we saw around 2021, near the beginning of 2021. We saw a huge double bottom pattern, the W pattern play out on the XRP BTC chart on the weekly time frame. We saw the exact same thing repeat again on this chart. And not only that, we're bouncing from the exact same area of support that we also bounced from last time, and we basically head straight into this same area of resistance that we saw all of these other times, and all of these other times, that's exactly where we started to turn around at. And so once again, I covered this exact chart and talked about this exact scenario around 2 weeks ago now on the channel. And when I talked about this chart right here around 2 weeks ago back down here, I said this is an opportunity to potentially double your Bitcoin. So for example, if you swapped your Bitcoin into XRP, when I was talking about this chart a couple of weeks ago back down here, obviously if you traded this move towards the upside, and then right now, if you swapped that XRP back into Bitcoin, you could have potentially doubled your Bitcoin. So from around here, where I talked about this chart on this channel around a couple of weeks ago to where we are right now, that's pretty much 100% gain on this chart right here, because this chart once again is versus Bitcoin. So let's just say if you had one Bitcoin, you sold that Bitcoin right here to buy XRP with that Bitcoin, and then right now you sold all of that XRP to buy back the Bitcoin. Essentially, you would have turned one Bitcoin into two Bitcoin. That's how this chart works. But as of right now, based on where XRP has reached against Bitcoin just recently, basically hitting this area of resistance again, as we've seen many times in the past over the last few years here, based on that, obviously this short-term move is likely coming to an end, or possibly already ended. But I want to make it clear, this is talking about the shorter term move, not necessarily the entire breakout bull market, because of course, if the overall crypto bull market continues well into 2025, and especially if we continue to see a major altcoin season well into 2025, it's very much possible that XRP BTC could continue breaking out here potentially at some point over the next few months beyond this point of resistance. And in that situation, if we start breaking out above this area on the XRP BTC chart where we've previously rejected from many times, obviously that would be very bullish, would likely go quite a lot higher. But as I mentioned in the intro of this video, this is likely a local top for XRP BTC, which basically means potentially for the next few weeks, maybe a month, that sort of time frame, it's very likely that XRP BTC will not go above this area on the price chart, because once again, this is likely just a local top, not necessarily the top of the bull market, but a local top for XRP BTC. And now, once again, that does not mean that XRP USD can't go up. Of course, XRP can still potentially go up against the US dollar in the coming days or weeks. That's still a possibility, but I'm talking about XRP versus Bitcoin. And so obviously, congrats if you did end up catching this move right here and potentially traded some Bitcoin into XRP a couple of weeks ago, as I shared here on the channel very transparently. And once again, if you want to take any of these trades in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.